Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, you're watching BookedonCharity, and we're here with yet another book haul. This one has come a little bit too soon. I usually do book hauls at the end of the month, which is what I did for the month of February, and it was a combination between books that I've gathered from January up until February. But there has been a recent book sale at Exclusive Books like 2 weeks ago, and I had to go and see what they had in store. I actually went the day before the book sale started, and they were packing up, and I saw some great books that I wanted to pick up. But then when I actually went back the next day, because I was at work and I could only go after work, the books that I wanted were gone. But I still found some really great books that I wanted to pick up, and others that were probably not on my radar, but I'm happy that I got. And for 55 Rand a piece for a brand new book, I'm really happy. So yeah, I've got a bunch of books that I bought from the Exclusive Book sale. I went there like 3 days in a row. So man, this is the books that I've been collecting for those 3 days. I also have 2 books that were sent to me by people at Pat Macmillan, and then another 2 from Wordsworth Books. So I'm going to start with those, and then we're going to get into the rest of the books. So buckle up, and let's talk about these new books that I'm adding to my shelf that is already so full that I'm actually considering reorganizing my bookshelf again for the second time in the first quarter of the year. I was planning on reorganizing anyway, but I was going to do it somewhere in the middle of the year. But I've reached a point where I don't have space on my bookshelf anymore, and a part of the reason why I'm doing this book haul now is because I'm planning on reorganizing this week, and I want to reorganize by genre. So watch out for that video that will be coming to you soon. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to rearranging and being able to properly locate my books when I'm actually looking for a book to pick. Okay, first things first, I got a really exciting book mail from Pat Macmillan. I was so happy when I got these books. It makes me so happy. Thank you so much, first of all. And they sent me the Atlas Complex by Olivia Blake, which is the 3rd book in the Atlas series. I think this might be a trilogy. So this is actually the last book in the series, which I'm happy that I have this copy, and I have book 2 as well. So I could be well on my way on reading this whole story. And then moving on, like I keep saying that I want to go back and read book 1, like not the whole book, just the last chapter, for a reminder of the plot twist. But now, because I've been doing so many rereads, I'm low-key like, should I actually just go on and reread the Atlas 6? Because I really enjoyed it. So if you don't know what the story is about, we're following 6 people who have magical abilities, and they all go to these different institutions, and they get specifically picked out by these members of the secret society to join said secret society. But they tell them the rules are obviously the secret society, so you're not like meant to talk about it, but also only 5 out of the 6 of you will make it out of this. So like we'll basically be able to go to the next level, but they don't know what the conditions are to get into that level. And we find out. We find out what it is. But I really enjoyed the story. I found the magic system to be really interesting, and we go through the journey of figuring out their magic system as they also learn more about it. And part of being a part of this secret society is that when you level up, when you get to the next level, you get access to this library of information with regards to your powers, how to control them, and whatever other information that they did not have access to. But like when I'm talking about it now, I feel like I really want to reread. I really want to reread the at this 6 series trilogy, and I think maybe I will do a reading vlog of me reading the whole trilogy and give you my kind of like play-by-play thoughts on the series, which is the same thing that I'm doing with Crescent City. So I'm looking forward to finally reading this. Also, the covers for these books are absolutely stunning. I love the constellations. I love all the symbolism they've got here. There is a sword on this one. There are stars. There's like a map of a sort. And I also love that in this book, every other chapter, they'll have an illustration of one of the characters, which I really enjoy. I really enjoy looking at this. My favorite character from the series so far has been Reina, and I just love her character. I love the way that she can communicate with like plants and what the plants actually say. It's like they have characters of their own. I find it to be so enjoyable and funny. I think I made the mistake of maybe leaning too much on the audiobook because I didn't enjoy some of the narrators in book one, and I kept looking forward to the next book, but the story itself was really interesting to me. So I'll decide whether, if I do actually reread book one, if I would go ahead with the audiobook as well or not. Okay, that was only the first book, and I spoke so much about it. But the next book they sent me has been on my radar since I heard Aaron from Booked and Busy talk about it, and I was just like, I need to read this. But also the cover of this book is so beautiful, and I'm talking about The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I cannot say these titles without looking at the books because they're so long. And this is a Crowns of Nyaxia novel, and then it is book one in the Nightborn duet. So but I think book two is also coming out really, really soon. So I'm looking forward to that. And I don't know, the premise of this also sounds really interesting. It says the Hunger Games meets vampires in this heart-wrenching epic fantasy romance of dark magic and bloodthirsty intrigue from best-selling author Carissa Brookman. I mean, it has all the things. It has all the things. I have never watched The Hunger Games, but I know how people love it. I'm a fan of vampires. Vampires are one of my favorite supernatural beings. And I remember myself complaining sometime last year that we don't get a lot of vampire-based stories. And this is why I was so excited to read Empire of the Vampire. But it wasn't my favorite, so I'm still looking for that good vampire story. And I really don't want to go and read the Vampire Diaries because I feel like the series has done what it needed to do for me, okay? Somebody just needs to write a good story that involves vampires. But, I mean, Hunger Games, vampires, heart-wrenching, epic fantasy romance. It has all the words that I love. And it talks about dark magic as well, bloodthirsty intrigue. I'm here for it. I can't wait. Erin is very critical of the books that she reads. And when Erin says a book is good, you know that it's good. And I usually go to her for like sci-fi fantasy recommendations. And she loves this one, and I think I'm going to love it as well. I can't wait to pick this book up. Okay, next up, I've got books from Wordsworth Books. The first one is actually a book that I won in a competition, and I'm so excited, and I'm bummed that I haven't had the time to actually go through it. I did read through a little bit of how to go about filling out this book, because it's not a typical novel. It's actually a murder mystery logic puzzles, which I love puzzles. I love mysteries, and I love trying to solve them. I can't say that I'm good at it, but I do love it. And I like that first of all, this is the book. It's called Myrtle. I loved the title intrigued me because I don't know if you guys know, but there was a word game that was very popular 2 years ago called Wordle. I was so obsessed with Wordle. Me and my colleagues every single day, we would be like, have you done Wordle? Have you done Wordle? No, I haven't. And we even had good words to start off with to try and guess what the Wordle of the day was. It was hectic. We were there we did Wordle, we did Nerdle, which was the numbers game. And now when I saw Myrtle, I was like, oh yeah, this is right up my alley. And I entered the competition. I won the competition. I'm so happy about it. This is the kind of thing that I like. I just want to chill and like listen to like some cafe music and go through these and just solve these. I don't think I can listen to an audiobook while doing this because I would need to think through these, these clues so that I can figure out what's going on. But kind of like this is an example of one of them, and this is kind of like what you can expect. And in this table here, you go and fill out who you think did it, what happened, and where it happened. And you can like mark your suspects, your locations, and the weapon used. And I think this is so cool. This is so cool. I like things like this. I love things like this. Okay, and then from my request, they sent me another book that is on my anticipated releases, and this book has been so popular everywhere. When you think fantasy romance, it's one of the books that are now starting to become on every one of those lists, and it is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Also, I know book 2 is coming out really soon if it's not yet out. I haven't really been tracking lately. And it says, no God, no war, no one can come between them. It says, when two rival journalists find love through a magical connection, their fate depends on their facing the depths of hell together. And that's all I need to know. Like, I don't even need to know too much about this, but apparently it's like the kind of book that really encompasses the word fantasy romance, and it just makes me excited because I'm not a big contemporary romance reader, but I do love me some romance in my fantasy books. So looking forward to Divine Rivals, and thank you so much to Words with Books for sending me these books. Okay, on to the big one. The big one. I don't even know where to start. It's gonna really be random. I'm not gonna show these books to you in any order of like genre or whatever. I'm just gonna pick a book and show you. The first one I've got is The Battle Drum, and this is by Sarah L. Arifi. This is book 2 in, what is the name of the series? I have book 1. I have not read it yet. The Final Strife is book 1, which has an absolutely pretty cover. So this is an ARC. I've got the ARC. I don't know if they've got the actual cover somewhere. Sometimes they have the cover on the inside. But I had received this ARC from Jonathan Ball Publishers a while back, and I need to read it. But I need to get to book 1, obviously, before I get to book 2, The Battle Drum. And I hope that these are going to be good. Like, look at the size difference between book 1 and book 2. Looking forward to it. I love me some chunky books. I've been reading chunky books like a lot lately. And for me, it's like, as long as you keep me interested, as long as the plot is still fire, give me a long book any day. The next book I picked up, and then I put it down, and then I picked it up, and then I put it down. Because I wasn't sure if I wanted it or not. But if there was ever a reason to get a book that I'm not sure about, it's when it costs 55 rand, okay? And that's what I did, because I honestly did hear good things about this book, and I'm interested to read the story, but I know that it's not something that I'm going to be jumping at like immediately. But I'm glad that I now have a copy for myself. So I'm glad that I actually bought it. And that is The Prophets, and this is by Robert Jones Jr. And it says that lyrical and rebellious, may this book cast its spells on all of us. And this is from the New York Times. And I believe that this has a male-on-male romance, but set in a plantation. So it says, a singular and stunning debut novel of the forbidden union between two enslaved young men on a deep south plantation, the refuge they find in each other, and a betrayal that threatens their existence. I think it sounds good, but I also think that it's probably going to be a tearjerker, and I'm such a softie that at any point I shy away from reading a book that will make me cry. Okay? I don't go in there facing the danger when I see it. But I wanted to pick it up because I do want to read this story one day, and I'm looking forward to it. I've heard nothing but beautiful things about this book, and I can't wait to explore the story when I do get to it. I'm fixing the pages that I like bent somewhere here in between. I like my books to be like pristine, guys. I don't understand you guys who like bend, dog ear your books. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Or like write in book. I cannot write in my books. I cannot. Only authors can write in my book when they sign it. That's it. But yeah, I've got The Prophet. And then another series that I know I'm going to get to, and in my heart of hearts, I believe I'm going to love, which is Jade Legacy. This is the third book in the Greenbone saga, right? Book 1 is called Jade City, and then we've got Jade War, and then we've got Jade Legacy, and I believe that there's also a novella somewhere in between. I've heard nothing but great things about the story. I don't even know what it's about at this point. I don't even care, but I know it's probably like some Asian-inspired story, but I don't know. I don't know what it's about. I don't care what it's about. I'm not going to read the back of it because obviously this is book 3 and will probably reveal things that I should not even know. But the library journal says blood, loyalty, and lives are gained and lost in the powerful finale of the Greenbone saga. Lee's series will stand as a pillar of epic fantasy, guys. When I hear epic fantasy, like, I just get all kinds of excited. And then the book page says, a spectacular end to the Greenbone saga with triumphant action sequences, tragic deaths, and unexpected moments of redemption. Let me know in the comments if you read Jade City or the Greenbone saga and what your feelings were about it. No spoilers, please. The next book is also another one that I wasn't sure whether I should pick up or not. I feel like 2 years ago, if not, how long have I been back to reading? Since 2020, maybe like 3 years ago. It was a book that was on my radar and it was on my wish list, and that's when I was still trying to figure out what my reading tastes were. So I was getting a lot of my reading recommendations from other people's reading tastes. Okay, it panned out a lot of the times, but sometimes it didn't. But when I saw this, I'm like, okay, I think I'm still interested in this book, and it is Red at the Bone, and this one is by Jacqueline Woodson, and I believe this is a mother-daughter story. It's a very short book, so I'm not really going to read the back, but I think I remember something. It's like a coming of age, mother-daughter relationships, things like that, which I don't really read a lot of, but yeah, I'm interested to read Red at the Bone. And then another book that will probably be a shocker to people who've been here for a while is that I bought myself a classic book, and this is the second classic book that I own. Okay, maybe not second, maybe third, because I do have Chinua Achebe, which African classic, but like the non-African classic, I did not own a single book until 2024. But I recently got myself Jane Eyre, and there's one that Vuvu kept saying, you know, if you had to get into classics, this would be the one that I would recommend you start with, because it's kind of like a mystery story as well, and I do really enjoy mystery novels. So I got it, and I got it in a hardback, and it's a signature classic, and I really love this cover. And I'm talking about Wuthering Heights, and this is by Emily Bronte. Here we go. I think it's so pretty. I actually really do like this cover. When it comes to classics, I'm very particular about what I buy. I really do like the ones with the really nice, or like different covers without humans on it. Like, this is an illustration, if you get what I mean. But yeah, at the back it says, be with me always, take any form, drive me mad, only do not leave me in the abyss where I cannot find you. Okay, we will see what this book has in offer for me when I eventually get to it. A book that I've read before, owned before, got rid of. I sold my copies because I made promises, and then later on I regretted it. And then I regretted it again last year when I didn't pick them up when Exclusive Books was having one of the 55 rand sales. And when I saw it again, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get that. I'm going to replace my copies that are gone. And that is Heartstopper. So I've got volume 1, and then I've got volume 4, which I'll go grab it somewhere at the bottom of the pile. So here, I've got volume 4, and then I've got volume 1. Unfortunately, they didn't have volumes 2 and 3, so I'll have to wait for the next sale so that I can get myself copies of volumes 2 and 3. This copy that I have for volume 1, though, has the spine is a little bent, so I don't know why. I don't know if it's a secondhand, or I don't know if people just went to the store and started reading this, because I guess you can read this in an hour, so you can literally, don't do that though, don't do that, because some of us who go and want to buy the book, we don't want a read book and buy it for full price, so don't do that. But I think that's probably what somebody did. But here we go. Here is volume 1 and volume 4 of Heartstopper. I absolutely love this graphic novel. One of my favorite stories. Volume 5 I know is out now, so I'm recollecting because I don't know when Alice Oseman is going to be done with the story, but I love the story so much. I love the story. I love the illustrations. I love the TV adaptation. Everything was just so nice and warm and lovely and sweet, and the kind of life story that you want to see, the kind of support that you want to see. And Alice Oseman does tackle a lot of like mental health issues, but she does it in such a healthy and supportive way that I really enjoy her work. And then I got, what book number is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got book 6. Okay, I got book 6 in a series that I have not started, a series that I do not own any other books of, but I will probably be collecting them as I go. And that is The End by Dudubusani Dube. This is book 6, the final book in the Hlomu series. However, the way that it's written as if the mess is the last book, because the end is kind of like sitting at the end, if you get what I mean. I don't know if you're going to even see anything, but there's a gap that suggests that this is maybe a standalone, but maybe still following the same characters. I don't know. But people really love these stories. This is like drama on drama on drama on drama on drama, and everybody just loves to be sucked into it. And I can't wait to get my chance to also get sucked in. I did start Hlomu, but I didn't get too far, but also I had a borrowed copy, so I had to give back. But yeah, I need to get myself the rest of the copies, then I can get into the story. Okay, and then I got a middle grade, which I also heard good things about when it came out, but it's been kind of quiet lately. And it is An Arrow to the Moon, and this is by Emily XR Pan. Oh, maybe it's a YA. Maybe not a middle grade. It says Hunter Yi has perfect aim with the bow and arrow, but all else in his life veers off course. Haunted by his family's past mistakes, and the only things keeping him from running away are his younger brother, a supernatural wind, and the bewitching girl at his new school. So this is like a romance type thing. Well, I guess it's a YA fantasy romance, because they do mention a supernatural wind and the well, I don't know if she really like actually bewitched, but yeah, looking forward to reading this one. This is definitely YA. I actually thought it was middle grade. And then a book that I've been wanting to get for a very long time, but I really did not want this cover because I don't like this cover. I wanted the other cover, but I could not find it anywhere. And the other one is better. I don't know. But I watched the movie. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I really wanted to read the book and see what I can get from there. And I didn't even realize that this is the young readers edition. So there's no explicit language, and there's even bonus material included. And that book is The Martian, and this is by N.D. Ware. This book is very popular, but it's about a man who gets stranded on Mars and has no way to communicate with Earth, and he needs to basically find a way to survive and get help. I don't remember how the story goes, but I'm looking forward to experiencing it through the book. Then I think I'll probably rewatch the movie at some point. Next up, I've got an African graphic novel, and it's a series. I don't know what other books are there, but I saw this one and it intrigued me, and I'm like, this is actually a nice thing to have and to keep, and to also have, you know, my daughter at some point read. But this is King Shaka, and it is a graphic novel. So what you can expect from the graphics when this thing decides to focus. I can't even page through nicely, but if you can just get a glimpse of what to expect. I've never actually seen this. I did not know that this existed, but I was so happy to see this. I was so happy. And then you get the characters in the King Shaka Zulu legend, and I don't know if it has like multiple stories. If it does, I don't know what number this is. This may be book 1 or maybe book 5. I have no idea, but I'm gonna make the assumption that this is book 1. Oh, and they've got the map. They've got a map over there. But yeah, I'm really happy that I got this, and I'm looking forward to reading it and seeing what they're saying in here. Oh, and at the back it actually tells you how accurate is the story. So this is a fictional, historical fiction based as far as possible on fact, but there are different versions of his story, and this is merely one telling of the story. So this is interesting. Zulu culture has no written records at that time. It was an oral culture which transmitted its history through the telling and retelling of stories, which is true. It was only when the Europeans arrived that details of Zulu culture were written down for the first time. These written records were produced mostly by European writers with their own very different outsider perspectives, which is true. And then we've got key events in Zulu history from 1828 to 1879 over there. So I like that this is kind of like a little history lesson, something maybe to get you started on, to maybe dig deep and get into the history. But as you know, they mention here, this is a story which mostly has been retold through the European eye, and you have to like go and find ones that were written by Africans. But yeah, this is also written by Luke W. Mulver. So I mean, I don't know, man. Let me see what it says here. Okay, it's illustrated and written by Luke. Okay, so this work has drawn on the myth of Iron Shaka in History by Dan Wiley, The Assassination of King Shaka by John Labard, and Emperor Shaka and the Great by Mazisi Kunene. So I guess they took different things from those different books and then put together this graphic novel. But I think this is interesting. I think this is very interesting. Looking forward to reading that. Another book, another author that I really like seriously want to put my efforts into reading this year is Brandon Sanderson. But Mr. Sanderson has so many books, you guys. So for now, for this year, I'm just concentrating on reading the Mistborn series. Everything else, I'm literally just collecting as I go, as I find sales and things like that. And then I will see at the end of the day what I've collected and what I can read. So I did find Rhythm of War, which I love these covers actually, and I want to collect all of them in this size. And Rhythm of War, this is part of the Stormlight Archives, and it is book 4, part 2. So you see, I need to get book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, part 1, and then book 4, part 2. And I don't even know if there's book 5 or anything like that. But I mean, the Stormlight Archives right now, there's 9 books. So there is The Way of Kings Part 1 and then Part 2. There's Words of Radiance Part 1 and 2. There is Edge Dancer, which is a novella. They've got Oathbringer Part 1 and Part 2, and then they've got Rhythm of War Part 1 and Part 2. So essentially it's 4 books, because it's The Way of Kings, because each of them has a Part 1 and Part 2. It's The Way of Kings, it's The Words of Radiance, it's Oathbringer, and then it's Rhythm of War. And I've heard amazing things. I've heard amazing things about Brandon Sanderson. Guys, look at how much this man has written. Look at all those books. There's just still so much to uncover, so much to read. At this point, I only own the first 3 books in the Mistborn saga, and then I also own Skyward. Oh no, not Skyward, maybe something else, because the book it's from the Skyward series. The book I own is book 3 of the Skyward series, which is a sci-fi series, but gosh, I can't wait. I cannot wait to get in here. There's a map. There's maps on maps. There's illustrations. What is going on? My gosh. The intricacies, and there's illustrations in between as well, which I like. There's like illustrations in between. Let's see what else is here. Oof. Illustration of somebody's back. But I like this. I like books that have illustrations, and this is what I was looking at but earlier. There's some sketches of some buildings. There's a map on here. So, I mean, Mr. Sanderson is giving us a lot. But yeah, I still have a ton of books to collect. I think I've already shared this book. But this is Daughters of Nandi. I might have already hauled this in my previous haul. This is also a story surrounding Shaka Zulu, but we are actually following the women. And I think it's Shaga's mom Nandi Mhlongo that we are following. And curses and breakings of curses, but I do believe that I might have hauled this book already, so I don't really want to talk too much about it. And then I've got, I don't even know if this is like a horror. This looks like horror. I don't, and I'm not very big on horror. I don't like creepy stuff. I like thrillers, but I don't like creepy stuff. But for some reason, I picked this up. And I'm like, maybe I should try. Maybe let me try myself. Maybe I don't know, right? So this book is called Hide, and it's by Kirsten White, and says the rules are simple: don't be found. And at the bottom it says, Karen M. McManus says, a marvelously creepy thrill ride of a book. I hope that is more on the thrilling side than the creepy side. But at the back it says, the challenge: spend a week hiding in an abandoned amusement park and don't get caught. The price: enough money to change everything. So that on its own I find very interesting. So which is the reason why I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a try. And this is why I was like, with this kind of book sale, this is the one time where I will probably pick up books that I wouldn't normally want to spend all of my money on. But I was like, it sounds like something I would definitely watch. So I'm like, maybe let me read it and see how that goes. 3 more books to go. I have another book 3 from a series that I do not own. And this one is called Legacy of Light, and this is by Matthew Ward. This is an epic fantasy trilogy, but it's called the Legacy Trilogy. Book 1 is Legacy of Ash, and book 2 is Legacy of Steel. I feel like I've seen these books on somebody's YouTube. I don't know who, but it seems intriguing enough to me. I like the cover. I don't even know what the premise of this is, but it says fate turns, legacies burn, light must conquer the shadow. I don't know what that means, okay? But something in me tells me I might be interested in this. And also, I'm really drawn to epic fantasies right now. I love all the action. I love all the blood. I love all the intrigue. I love those things. I love those things, okay, in my fantasy. But I want to be stressed out for people. I was reading book 2 of Crescent City last night, and I was just like getting so stressed out and like getting frustrated, and I had to like tell my husband what's going on, and he has no idea, but he has to listen to me because I have nobody else to talk to at that time of night. The second last book I picked up because I've seen this cover, I've seen this book, and I think it's gonna be something very magical, mystical, and I'm looking forward to it. I really hope that it's an enjoyable story, and it is called The Girl That Fell Beneath the Sea, and this is by Axio. This is a YA fantasy, and Elizabeth Lim said it is beautiful, it is mesmerizing, which is exactly what I expect to find in this book. And Stephanie Garber says it's entirely enchanting, and it says don't chase fate, let fate chase you. But yeah, I really like this cover. I think it's going to be a nice, easy, quick read for me, and I can't wait to pick this up. Also, the cover, honestly, the cover is the reason why I'm so drawn to this book. I love the pinks and the purples and the magicalness of it. The final book, definitely not least, that was the final book that I bought from the exclusive books book sale. This one I actually placed an order on TakeALot last week when I realized that, girl, ain't nobody gonna send you this book. But if there's a book that I will spend my money on in 2024 from my anticipated releases list, it's going to be House of Flame and Shadow by Miss Sarah J. Maas. And you guys, cover, let's take a moment for this cover. I love these trade paperback covers. I think they're so stunning. I think they're so intricate. Look at that. When the glare comes off, when the brightness just dims, look how beautiful this book is. Oh gosh, it's so beautiful. Like, I feel like buying these books to just keep on my shelves to decorate, and then buying other copies to like read and reread, because obviously that's what I'm doing now. I just finished rereading book 1 and book 2. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait to get into this one. I'm actually doing a Crescent City reading vlog for you guys, so I can't wait to get into the third book, give you all my thoughts, and make that video available to you guys to read. So I'm looking forward to this one. This is the book 3 in the Crescent City series, which follows a main character by the name of Bryce Quinlan, who in book 1 experiences a very traumatic experience where she finds her best friend and her other close friends brutally murdered. And there's a lot of, like, book 1 especially deals with a ton of grief, and I think I didn't realize how much grief we encounter in the book when I read it the first time. When I read it the second time, I was like, oh my gosh, the things that this girl was doing, the decisions that she's making is based on her grief. The decisions are being driven by the grief, driven by the loss, driven by this loneliness that she feels. The way that Sarah J. Maas writes her book and the characterization she does, and the foreshadowing that she does in her books, the plot twists, the multiple plot lines, it blows my brain, and it makes me so excited to keep reading her books over and over again. And I can't wait. I honestly can't wait to get into book 3. I'm so happy that I got myself a copy of the trade before they stop printing in trade and then they bring out the paperbacks. So paperbacks are not really my favorite. Absolutely love these ones. One day I would want to own all the hardcovers, special editions of these books, because I'm probably going to be rereading these books for years to come. Alright, and that is the last book on this very massive book haul, and I'm not even going to try to hold up all of these books. It's not going to work. But for the sake of the thumbnail, I think I'll maybe try and grab like half of the books, which I don't even think that they will all fit. But here are half of the books that I just hauled for you guys today. Let me know which of these books you are mostly interested in me reading specifically, so that I can have that in a future reading vlog. Let me know if there's any specific books that you think I should maybe prioritize, move up my reading list, and I will surely put that into consideration. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far in this video, give me a crescent moon emoji for House of Flame and Shadow, which I'm so excited for. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye. When the crowds have gone, we could talk under